Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video we are going to be making this bridesmaid's dress. I got an order for it and I decided to record it. It's pretty simple to make and it has a little beading on the waist. So this is how the fabric is. It's this shiny transparent net fabric, and then it has a lining. Although it's thicker than the normal lining, it's more of crepe. So but then they came together, and I believe each one of them is 3 yards. So her full length is 54 inches. So when you take out your shoulder to half length, which is 15, you are going to be having 39. Okay, 39, and I added 1 inch for sewing allowance, so 40 inches, and her waistline is 28 inches. Divided by 4 will give you 7. Then you add 1 inch for your sewing allowance, so making it 8. And here I'm just folding it, so that is 40 inches for her length plus the 8 inches for her round waist. That is 48 inches. Okay, so I'm measuring 48 inches into 2, right? So there are 2 parts, each one of them is 48, as you can see, and I'm making a triangle with it, just like the way you make your normal circle. Yes, because the lower part of the dress is, a round circle, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to arrange it. The fabric was a little bit flimsy. In fact, when I was measuring this, I measured 47. Okay, so I didn't add the 1 inch for sewing allowance around her waist because the fabric was a tad bit stretchy, so that 1 inch was not needed. I just cut out her exact waist 7, and it was okay when I was done cutting it. So if your fabric is a little bit stretchy, you can do that. As you can see, I'm marking at 7.5, so I use 7.5 instead of 8 that I said. Yeah, so I use 7.5. So you see, I added half an inch instead of 1 inch for sewing allowance, and that's what I did. I just marked out 7.5 all round, and then here I'm marking out the lower part. So I'm marking out the 47 inches that I need. 47.5. Yeah, I'm marking it out all round. Although I got tired and I stopped because the fabric was really flimsy and it is transparent, so the chalk wasn't really showing. So what I do is, when I have this kind of situation, I just fold the fabric again instead of just using the normal triangle when you're cutting out a round circle. So I folded it again. Sometimes I even fold it again when the fabric is very, very thin and flimsy, like when you're cutting out a chiffon. You can fold it for as how many times as you want, since your scissors will be able to cut it. So I just folded it again. Sorry about this, I was recording this video outside, so that's why you can see these light patches, and also the fabric is a little bit metallic, so it's reflecting the light. Yeah, so I'm just measuring it all around, putting in my measurement all around, then I'll be cutting it out. So have you subscribed to my channel? Like, what are you waiting for? Make sure you subscribe and go through my channel. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're going to find at least 2 more videos that you'd like to learn to watch. So please make sure you check out my channel and share with your friends. If you think there's anyone that would like this video, just please share them with it. Okay, share this to them. I don't know, I'm making this voice over at night, guys, so sorry if I sound slow or if I'm saying gibberish. But I'm very sleepy, but I just wanted to do this and upload the video tomorrow. So for the top part of the dress, I'm just trying to illustrate it a little bit, just a freehand illustration, so that you guys can get. So assuming this is your shoulder, right, your round shoulder, so you take out your neck and then your shoulder, your armhole. Then you measure out the half inches. So if your armhole is 7, you measure out 3.5. Okay, if your armhole is 8, you measure out 4. You see, then you mark out your neck depth. Make sure that your neck is deeper than the armhole. So like now, if the armhole is 4, half length, the half of your armhole is 4, make sure that your neckline is like 5 or 5.5, so that the curve will come out well. And then the shoulder, that is where the shoulder connects to your neck, you are going to curve it out a bit. I believe you understand me, guys. Even by watching what I'm doing, you get it. So you cut out your neck, make sure it's curved out really good. Then you cut out the shoulder too, because you see we used another fabric for the shoulder. Yeah, here I'm just covering it out really good. It's freehand sketch, so it's not really going to come out really good. Yeah, but this is exactly what we are going to be doing. It's pretty easy to make, I think. So here I've just folded out some fabric for her upper part of the dress. This is for the front part, and this is the 2 panels for the back. And of course I added 1 inch zipper allowance, and that's the little space that you guys can see, the 1 inch zipper allowance. So the one on the top is for the front, and the one on the back is for the back part of the dress. So as you can see, I just measured is 16 inches. Her half length is 15, so the 1 inch is for sewing allowance. So I'm going to be measuring her shoulder is 7, so it's 14 divided by 2 is 7, of course. So I'm marking that out now, and I'm going to draw a straight line. Her armhole is also 7, so I'm going to be drawing out 7. And that's what I just did. So guys, if you have a material like this that is like a tulle net and transparent, has holes, don't use chalk, please, because or if you use chalk, make sure you don't really write on it deeply, because I had a hard time. I had to wash it off. So you see, make sure you just write it a little bit, like don't press it down when you are trying to illustrate on the fabric, on your fabric. So I just marked that my neck to be 3.5, I think, the neck width, and the depth I used 4 inches, right? Yes, I used 4 inches, and that's what I'm marking out. So her armhole is 7, so definitely the half length of her armhole will be 3.5, and that's what I just marked out. And yeah, I'm just covering out my armhole. I hope you have subscribed, guys. I can't believe you should be watching up to now and you haven't subscribed. What are you waiting for? So her shoulder to bust is 9, but we're using 9.5 because of sewing allowance, and her shoulder to under bust is 12, but we're using 12.5 because of sewing allowance. Then of course the last line is for half length. So her round bust is 33 divided by 4 is 8.25, I think, but I'm rounding it up to 9, I believe. Yeah, I used 9 so that it wouldn't be exactly fitted on her. It will be a little bit free. So her waist is 28 divided by 4, which is 7, but I used 8. The 1 inch will be my dart. I'll be adding darts to her waist, but only on the front part. Yeah. And here I'm just connecting out all my lines. Then I believe I'll be going back to okay, I'll be cutting it out now. I'm starting from the armhole. I'm carefully doing this because, like I said, the fabric is very flimsy. And remember, I didn't add sewing allowance for the sides, so that is why I'm not cutting exactly on those lines. I'm leaving like almost 1 inch from the lines that I drew. That is my sewing allowance. You can clearly see the sewing allowance, of course. Yeah, I'm marking the same shoulder for the back. Yeah, So for the back, the neck depth I'm using is 3 inches, and I'm going to be cutting out the neck. And that's all for the back. We're going to be keeping it outside. Then we're going to curve out and connect the armhole to the neck depth, but then I realized it will not be very deep, because her half of her armhole is 3.5, and I used 4 for the neck depth, because she doesn't want her chest to be showing too much. So I went up the armhole. I used 3, I think. Yeah, I used 3 inches instead of 3.5, so that I wouldn't have to go deeper on the neckline. But if you don't mind your neckline really showing, then I guess you can do that. So I didn't cut it off completely, because I have to cut off the what's it called, the shoulder. So you see, I'm also covering out the shoulder. You can do this with your freehand sketch, or you can use your French curve to do that. So I just curved it out, and I'm going to cut it following that curve carefully, guys, especially if you have a flimsy fabric. So we are going to take another one for the neck, and we'll keep this panel, this shoulder panel, because we are going to be replacing it with this white crepe, or milk crepe rather. It's milk, and that's what I'm going to do right now. Another thing, guys, when you have a fabric that is squeezed, please make sure you iron it before you cut. Because, guys, I was just cutting from this and it's not ironed. By the time I ironed it, it was a mess, because then it became like I didn't cut it out correctly. But then, of course, I made do with it. But to stay safe, just iron it before you cut it. So you see, we just replaced it, and this is how it will look like. So I've cut out the lining for the lower part of the dress and the back part of the upper dress, and this is the lining for the front part of the dress. So you can see, this is how it looks. Yeah, I'm just placing it, so you can see that the neckline is not very deep. The client doesn't want her chest to show. So you see, this is what we are going to have. Pretty cute already, right? Yeah. So here I've used pins to hold down the lining and the tulle together, so that it will stay still when I'm sewing. And then I've lined the shoulder, you can see, and I've lined the back part of the dress, the 2 panels for the back part of the dress. I've sewed the lining and ironed it. Then here, this is the hand sleeves. I forgot to record the hand sleeves, guys, so you can just do any sleeves that you like, I guess. So this is the front. I've ironed it, but I haven't applied the lining, because we are going to be applying it together with the shoulder. So you put in the shoulder, then stitch in the lining all together, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And here I've done it, and also I've applied the dots, as you can see. Cute. And that's all for the dress, at least. And you see, I think it's really cute and chic. So I just wanted to add a strap of beading, just to make the dress more chic, because the fabric is already metallic and shiny. So I just wanted something just different. So I'm pressing my needle and thread from the inside of the fabric. I just went like 2 inches above the waistline, and I'm just picking my beads. These are a little bit big. They're a little bit on the bigger side, I think. And that's my niece. Guys, they're always interrupting me when I'm making my videos. So I'm going to continue picking the beads until I get the length that I want. As you can see, I'm halfway to getting what I want. Here I'm just testing it out to see how I want the beading to stay on her waist. If I want it to be drapey or I want it to be, fitted to her waist. But I wanted it to be a little bit drapey, so I'd have to add some beads. And this is just what I'm doing, just using the needle to pick them out one by one. I hope you guys can see. Pretty easy. Just pick them out with your needle and push them down the thread. And I believe here I've had it exactly where I want it. So, and I'm going to the other side and go 2 inches above the waist and also put it back in. Yes, and that's all. We have our pretty bridesmaid's dress. Really cute and simple to make, I think. Thank you.